Hey everybody, my next guest is a very funny guy who can be seen all over the Long Island, New York comedy circuit. He's a comedian, writer, actor, filmmaker, and all-around creative guy. Here he is, the one and only Jack Adam. Jack, what's up, bud?
What's up, Don? Thanks for having me.
Dude, this is awesome to have you on, and I know you're kind of in. We caught you in a good week, well, kind of a good week for us because you're stuck at home. You're trapped at home, so you had no choice but to kind of get on here.
Yeah.
So, what happened, man?
My car is just, I have a 2001 Jeep Cherokee. It is a constant headache. And I just like was driving it, and then my check engine light started blinking at me. It's always on. The check engine light's always on. I always have a misfire or something. But it started blinking at me, and I was like, "It was angry. I should not be driving this car. It's angry at me."
So once it's blinking, uh-oh, this is getting
Yeah.
real now. Now we got some
Yeah.
something serious.
So I was able to get it to my mechanic, but my mechanic's like every mechanic now is like so busy. Like they're all just booked. Like any guy that, and I kind of want that because any mechanic that's like, oh yeah, we'll take you now. It's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I want them to be booked.
Right. You want to know that if he's booked, that
Right,
means he's good.
right. So I kind of just dropped it off there, knowing he couldn't get to it for a little bit, and knowing that I wasn't gonna want to drive it, you know. So yeah, I've kind of just been like stuck a little bit. I could take the train to work, but it's like it's so far, and I have to go to Jamaica and then back on another line.
Where do you
So
work? In the city or in Queens?
In Garden City.
Oh yeah. So
Um,
then you'd have to go to Jamaica and then take another train to get out to.
yeah,
Yes, that's a pain in
exactly.
the ass, man.
Yeah. And but, I don't work 40 hours a week there, so it's like, kind of short days a little bit. So it's like not always it's technically worth it if I want them if I want any of them. I could use vacation days, get my own stuff done at home. So that's the plan right now.
Nice. And like I said to you before we started this, like it's always good to take the time when you can get the time. So like if you t and you're turning something bad into something good. So you're like, oh shit, my car's down, but you know what? I'm gonna take this time to get my own personal projects moving forward. Maybe look for other opportunities or whatever that thing may be. You're kind of taking the something bad and turning it into something good. You're taking lemons and making lemonade, Jack.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
just realizing that's a green screen behind you.
oh
I
yeah.
was like, Don's got a cool basement.
I wish this was my real basement. This is Wayne's World. This is
Oh, okay. I get it. I
yeah.
see it now.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Oh
this
yeah, you
is
got all the Chicago stuff back there. I can see it.
when we first went into lockdown mode and I used to have a game show called Put Up Shut Up Stand Up and we did it out of the governor's podcast studio. And then once lockdown happened, I got stuck at home. I couldn't do the game show anymore. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to my roots and just start interviewing. 'Cause that's what I love to do. I love talking to people. And then I said, oh, I want to give a homage to the OGs that been doing it in their basement forever, and that's Wayne and Garth, man.
Yeah.
So, well, now that you're home and you got all this time to yourself here, what's some of the things you're working on? What's some of the project?
Okay, so I'm like very like social media minded right now. Like YouTube is on my mind at every moment, but I've kind of like realized that like there's I'm trying to find the balance between quantity and quality, you know? So there's stuff that I wanted to do. I'm like, I want to film sketches, and I'm gonna film them like with a good camera and good audio, but I'm realizing like like it's great if I can do that, but sometimes it's like just having it on the phone. Stuff goes viral with like the worst audio quality, video quality. Not that I'm like trying to go viral, with like I don't have that in mind, but it's like if it's gonna be a simple sketch, I can just do it on my phone. But if it's gonna be a short film, I want to do it with my good camera and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that. So I wrote, kind of beated it out, not full dialogue yet, but I have all the beats for like two shorts now and a sketch. And there's one, I'll share this one with you before I post it. I
Okay.
can share anything, I don't care, but this one I'm
All
really
right.
excited about. I do a Trump impression. I don't know if you know that. Um,
No,
I do,
yeah.
I've been doing that on stage for a while. And I had this idea for whatever reason to because I hate like I don't always like doing impressions. Like if it's fun for it has to be really fun and silly for me to like want to do it.
Right.
Um, and I was like, how do I do this on like social media, like without being like, here's my impression of Trump at the dollar store, something like that.
Right, right, right.
I just hate doing that stuff. So um, I thought of this idea. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, if you can see it on camera. I'll get it up though. But I had the idea of I'm gonna be in a record shop and I'm gonna find a record. I made this image here. Um, can you see that?
Yeah, Donald Trump, spoken word rocket man.
Yeah. That's AI, and then I put the ringware around it, and I'm having somebody print it out. I'm gonna glue it on a record, and then act like I found it in a record shop. And then they have like the record players there, and I'm gonna put it down, listen to headphones, and then play it over it. And then so yesterday and the day the record, like I found like somebody playing just the piano version, karaoke version, and then I just did the impression over it, added some vinyl crackle, made it sound like it's coming from a record, and it's just basically 0 hour 9 a.m. Like it's kind
That
of
was
like
good, man.
she packed my bags last night pre-flight. Imagine if she packed them post-flight. That'd be awful. Having no clothes for my flight to space. Imagine that. It's kind of just all that kind of stuff. So,
That's great. So when you go in the record store, you find that record, is it going to be hidden camera where people think it's real, or is it going to be actors and all that? Either way, I think works, but I'm just wondering if you're going to try to do it in a real environment.
so I think yeah, I'm gonna try to do it in or there's a record shop in Sayville, Buddha Belly. I feel like that would be like a nice place to do it at. I could
Yeah.
literally do it anywhere. Um, even well if like they knew it or not, but. Um,
Right, right.
but I think I'm gonna pose it um, as almost like a series, as like crate digging with Jack Adam or something. Maybe we'll do like a little theme song,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm just flipping through stuff, and then I'm just like, what the hell is this? Um, and then do that, or I can do it that way, or I can do it like Amoeba Records, like they always do it at Amoeba, like they're pulling records, like celebrity record picks.
right,
So
right.
maybe I'll do like here's my first pick, second pick, and then a little lesser known cut. This is Donald Trump doing a spoken word cover of Rocket Man. Um,
What made
so
you pick Rocket Man?
well, I thought of the spoken word cover I thought would be funny in general, and I was like, well, everybody knows the William Shatner Rocket Man, so like maybe I'll just do that one as the first one so people kind of get what I'm going
Right,
for
right.
a little easier, just in case.
That's hilarious.
Um, and I was like, I already like made the image, and I was like, I'm not gonna make a second one, so I might as well just do Rocket Man.
It's good. Your Trump impression rocks too, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
It's evolved like so much, I feel like it's like it keeps getting better, but then it gets worse for a little bit. And like I was just listening to like the recording. I'm gonna end up hating the recording and doing it again, but my voice is like so shot from like 2 days of just doing that.
I feel like a lot of people do Trump now, but what you just gave us a few minutes ago was really good. That was like above average.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a. Let's give us another sample of that real quick.
I do on stage. I do Trump talking about his like retirement plans, like if because I basically say how like a family member was like, I just w wish Trump would retire. I'm like, Trump's not never gonna retire. We're gonna leave office and fucking paint like Bush for the rest of his life. He's not gonna have a hobby. Like, what's he gonna do? I go to the aquarium. I love the aquarium. I have season passes to the aquarium. Love the stingrays. Everybody knows I love the stingrays, and the stingrays love me. It's all that.
That's great. I love the premise. I love that he loves
Yeah.
going to the aquarium. That's going to be his
Yeah.
hobby.
I
Stingrays.
have a few lines in there. So that bit I had like 2 or 3 years into comedy. I had like one joke about stingrays. And then once I got the Trump impression, I just had him start saying it because it was kind of mean. And then like a couple of years after that, I just like wrote like 2 minutes for it. And the one line was, the only reason I love stingrays is because I hated Steve Irwin. And he's a hero because he got stung. I like people who weren't stung. So
That's fucking great, man. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, I can't wait to see the Trump record store thing. Once it's done, send it to me. I'd love to put it into this interview to show everybody. Um,
For sure.
so do you like you wear a lot of hats? You do a lot of different stuff, right? You're, I think you're really doing great at everything that I've seen as far as stand up, and then writing and filmmaking and acting and all that stuff. But I think it all boils down to writing. I think writing is the core. At least that's how it is for me.
Yeah.
Is that how you see it?
Absolutely. I think of myself as like a writer first, and it's just like everything else is just so like my writing doesn't exist on like my computer or my drawer. Like, I do like the idea that I'm writing for myself. I find it harder to write for myself than to write for other people. Like my friend Brendan that I've done a bunch of stuff with, Brendan Ryan, like I feel like
Yeah.
I can write in his voice really well. And the sketch I wrote this week, I think is perfect for him. I wrote one a couple of weeks ago where like we're trying out our golf swings. That was I was like, oh, Brendan's gonna kill this. Like I know exactly how to write for him. But I mainly think of myself as a writer first.
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's kind of like Larry David was. I see him. I always said he's the brains behind Seinfeld, the show. And you know, would you be fine with, let's say you wrote a sitcom and Brendan Ryan is the star of it and everyone, and it's called Brendan Ryan's the name of the show and all that stuff, but you're really the brains. Are you good with being that like, or is there
Yeah.
a part of you that needs it all?
No, I think for something like that, because I'm like so focused on his voice, like that's where I get all of my joy is just like just making something that like is successful, like not successful as in like getting money and accolades and stuff, but like just getting something that works down is like just so fun for me, so I don't really care how that like comes about. But I do want somewhat of like an audience, so like I feel like I have to put myself in stuff,
Well,
you
if you
know.
look, if we follow that Larry David model, he ultimately Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, he ultimately, everyone knew who, that he was the brains or whatever. He was the guy, and like when I watch a lot of your stuff, the writing shines through, man. I just you stand up everything. I guess was like, damn, that was a clever bit, or I like how he came up with that, or where does he fucking come up with these premises? It's just so similar to the Trump thing we were just talking about. Like what stingrays? Where the hell? Like
Yeah.
it's just so out there, but clever and just intertwined. I mean, I think. I think those are where greatness comes from is in the writing. There's a lot of guys that can get up there and just riff and just they're naturally funny. But I think there's more um I don't know what's the right word. Like there's just more lifeline if you're a writer, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I guess I think it's just I think substance is what lasts over style. So like I feel like I almost like lack style a little bit because I'm so focused on substance. So like I actually want to be more of that guy that like can be more of myself on stage or try to really figure out how to act how I am. I feel like I can write more of like who I am, but I need to like be able to act that way too.
Dude, I think a lot of like again, like I don't know the real Jack Adam, but I think a lot of you shines through in your work when I'm watching you like the Grand Central Station type videos when you're kind of walking and talking and you're on your heelys and you're rolling around and you're you know
I'm Jack Adam. I'm an expert on Grand Central Station. I'm going to give you a tour today. I'm going to give you all the ins and outs of this amazing building. It's going to be a really fun time.
it's we don't know when to take like because you got such a dry uh tone about you also that I'm like, is the paper source story real or is he making this up or what's going on here?
Not many people know this, but every single piece of paper that comes into this country, that's imported into this country, comes through this paper source in Grand Central. Every little receipt, every little post-it note, every little piece of cardstock envelope, it comes filtered here through this paper source.
So I think you definitely shine through in those type of blog videos you've been doing.
Thanks. Yeah, that one for sure. While I was doing it, I feel like this is me. Like I got a little closer with that one. And through like those other videos where like I was forced to make myself like a first person type of guy, I felt like I discovered more about myself for sure.
I think those are great, man. Yeah, like I think those are awesome. I think you watch a lot of these travel blogs, guys, blowing up on TikTok and all kinds of YouTube and social medias. I think, dude, I think you'd be perfect for that. Just judging off what you did, the Grand Central Station alone, and then also the thing you did about the men's softball league, like those
Yeah.
type of narratives. And I think, man, I think that's where you're shining. Like at this point, I mean, I think it's pretty awesome.
Drive, determination. These are the qualities you must have if you want to be elite in men's slow pitch softball. Are you ready to be elite?
Thanks. That's good to hear because I feel like I've been like reluctant to do more of those because even though those have done like I haven't gotten like tons of views on like anything on YouTube really, but those do have like more views than other videos, and I feel like they're good and they're like really fun to work on, and they are like actually a lot of work, but I feel like I've wanted to be more of like my comedic self in them, and each of them kind of has like this. I put like cheesy music under it to like underscore it, make it not as like serious, but I feel like I wanted to figure out who my comedic self was versus like my real. I didn't want to be fully my real self in them, so like I took a step back to reevaluate and maybe figure out a better way to do them.
And there's so many punchlines within the like because when you're narrating it, like if you're talking about the men's softball league or whatever, or the one about your bedroom when you're talking about your guitars and all that kind of shit. I think those are awesome, and I think that there's punchlines all within it. There's punchlines in the narrative, punchlines in the video, there's punchlines in how you edited it. There's just little things everywhere that keep you watching, keep you engaged, and I think you should stick to that, man. Because I do think that those could boom, like all of a sudden one day you're gonna hit the right note, and you're gonna like, holy
Yeah.
shit. I can see that happening, man.
These are my records and books. I've listened to very little of these because ain't nobody got time for that. I want to read more, but I only like reading things that make me re-examine every part of my soul. I haven't been wanting to do that lately.
I'll try it again, I guess.
Those are a lot of work, believe me. I know I'm an editor also, and just the editing. It's fun shooting them all, and then you get everything, and then now you're sitting there going, "All right,
Well, it's
here we
great when
go."
you find a joke in the editing and it's like, "Ooh, I got like I think this is like actually a funny edit." You know,
Right?
like you don't
Yeah.
think of that stuff while writing, really.
Well, even with the one where you talk about writing jokes and you're in the toilet and all that stuff, just the camera angles you use, and then you're like, "All right, time to flush," and like it's just all these like little things, and everyone could relate to it because so many people do catch up on their writing or social media or whatever while they're in the bathroom. So I guess but again, it was the cleverness of how you shot it, the how you narrated it, the whole thing. So I think you're onto something, man.
And whatever's working well, I'll muster up enough courage to try them on the show.
More about
And
me complimenting me. I like this. It feels
yeah,
nice.
yes, that's what this is, the Don Sell
Yeah.
complimentary show. uh, and you had one too, comedy career or hobby or quit.
All right.
And I loved when you're like, I ain't never gonna quit. So
Yeah, I can't. You know, even if like I have like a full other job, like I don't think I'm gonna stop. You know, I feel so down when I'm not making stuff. Like I feel so like I'm just not living my life if I don't have something cooking. Like there's such something that just like comes alive in me, even if I hate it, even if I'm not making something that's good, it's like I'm still going down the line I should be going down. Like if I deviate from that, I feel awful. Like I
yeah.
feel so sad.
Is comedy going to be my career? Is it just going to be a hobby? Or is this thing I've been dreaming of doing my whole life?
Is it just going to be another thing that I quit? Quit. I can guarantee you this. It's not going to be something I fucking quit. It's a dry erase. It's a dry erase marker. Don't worry.
I hear you, man. It's the same. I go through the same thing for me as well. You feel emptiness if you're just going through the day and your day-to-day life or whatever, day job, chores, whatever. You feel like you're missing.
Yeah.
It's like there's an emptiness. And I think that's why it's the calling that, we see it with so many people. How many people do you see in the comedy scene that have been doing it forever and they're still, working, doing the bar circuit or whatever?
Yeah.
It's because they need it, you know. What's your goals with this, man? I mean, if you could have it your way, what would you be like? Where would you be?
I'd be just doing what I'm doing now, just on a bigger scale. I think I would just more strict, like professional like productions. It doesn't have to be like studio based, but I'd want like to make stuff with like a crew and get good actors and stuff like that. I think the goal, big goal, obviously, I want to make like a movie or create my own TV show.
Yeah,
Um, and but I love story. I love narrative. I love comedy, and I always want the stuff I'm doing to be funny, but I want to be able to tell like real stories too. That's like that makes me feel like really, really good when I can like tap into something about like I guess human nature or whatever. Like the scripts I've written, they all have like some sort of like a deeper kind of theme, even if they're comedic.
right. I- I'm the same way. Like with Comic Sans, the film you kind of joined us now. As far as
Yeah.
I want to get you on camera, and you're working behind the camera, kind of you're part of the team now, which is great. The Comic Sans is the same type of thing where it's I want it to be funny and have punchlines and even be a little out there, like absurd funny, like that would never happen, that kind of like really out
Yeah.
there, zany, but then also reel it back to the core of the character, this guy going through a midlife crisis. He's been a comedian forever. He's well known locally, but he just never really got the breaks he deserved in life, and that's kind of what the centers around the whole story. And he's got these crazy cast of characters, but I think the core story is whether it's you're in comedy or wherever you are, everyone could relate to that guy. Even younger people,
Yeah.
I think, especially guys my age, but I think even younger people could all relate to this person. And everyone questions themselves, or they're not happy with their choices, or woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I think that's
Yeah.
where that story is kind of going towards. So I
Yeah.
do like
Mm.
to bring in the drama into it. The real
Yeah.
life.
Something I like about the Comic Sans too is that your character's the booker or the manager.
Yeah, kind of like a booker, comedian. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, yeah. Is that like he's kind of forced, to put other people on stage? Like it just, like, and he wants a job in comedy, but that's maybe not the specific job that he wants. It just makes him feel way more stuck.
right. Yeah, because
I like that.
he's more known now for putting other people on. Like you discovered
Right.
this guy than he is for his own work.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like this whole like tribulation that he's going through. But yeah, but comedy ensues within. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I think we're both kind of the same on that thing. But also, like, how would you be if somebody says, Jack, we love what you're doing. We want to sign you to a deal with our movie company, blah, blah. So now you join the movie company and then you're sitting in a room full of executives and it's all corporate and they're like, Jack, we love everything you did, but we want to do it this way. How, at this point in your career, how connected are you to your material? Um, like if they said, take I don't know, the one of your sketches and like the Grand Central Station. We love what you did, but we want you to redo it and you know wear different clothes and stop with the Heelys. Like what
Yeah.
what would you? But you in your mind you're like the Heelys adds so much to it. Just the fact that I'm rolling
Right.
around
Yeah.
without ever mentioning it adds something. Well, just don't do that anymore. Like how would you handle the corporate or executives getting in the way of creative at this
That's a good
level?
question. I mean, that would be a very fortunate problem to have. You know,
Yeah.
the fact that I'm talking to anybody in a suit would be I don't even know if they wear suits anymore. They probably don't. They're probably tieless, sockless people. These corporate that's what I assume. But I don't know. I feel like it would be very hard to do something that doesn't feel like me, but I feel like I'd also be good at making my still putting myself into it, like figuring out a way to be me and adhering to their guidelines,
Right.
I guess. I think I could make that work.
It's so crazy in this day and age now because we have social media and everybody can make their own stuff and put it out there, whether it's blogs or films or short films or stand up, whatever it might be. You could put it out there. You could put out tomorrow, you could put out a stand up special if you wanted to. But so that's great. You could get seen, but it feels like in the 80s with the comedy, when the 80s boom happened, when there was it's oversaturated the market. There was just so many comedy shows, A&E and MTV half hour comedy. I feel like we're going through that kind of again. Especially with podcasts and all these type of things. It's so hard to compete when everybody's doing it. And does that ever get into your psyche when doing this stuff, or do you say, you know what, I'm going to stand out. They're going to find me.
Um, I think that especially like over the past few months, like I've always kind of known that like it's not up to people. I have to make people find me, and it's not really about even having people find me. It's just about making other people see me. Um, and I feel like I've really got to just keep that, like I know that like mentally, but I have to really bring that into like my work and just stand out so much that like people can't ignore me. Because for so long it's just been about like getting stuff done, like getting on that rhythm of like getting stuff done. Not that it hasn't been that long. I've only been doing video stuff more seriously because I only wanted to do stand up. Um, well, I always wanted to do this stuff too, but for years doing stand up, I was like, stand up's the only thing I got to do. Like, if I get good at stand up, that'll be fine. Then I got good at stand up, and I have an act, and I can
Right.
get gigs, everything. And then now that I have that, I felt like way more comfortable to like take a little bit of a step back and focus on, training the other hand in a way. Um, so. I feel like it's always stuff that I want to do. I just have to figure out how to do it for today's world. Like I said before, like I always wanted to do sketches and short films and would always write them, do one maybe here or there in college or whatever. And then I think have this idea, like I had this idea of like what they should look like, what they have to be like. Maybe they all connect in a way, and it just got too like ambitious where like I just felt paralyzed. So I was like, let me just do kind of simple stuff that is going to work on TikTok, that's going
Right.
to
Right.
work on Instagram. I haven't really found, I mean, I had one, of course it was a stand-up joke too. I had one stand-up joke do well on YouTube, and that's it. Like I've never had anything really get more than a few thousand views or a few hundred likes.
I don't know if you already done that, but if you chop up some of those blogs and just find little diamonds in those, because there's a lot of them. I think you could
Yeah,
just put those out. I guess you might have already done that on TikTok. I was
I did a few. TikTok's good. You can just keep reposting. They don't care.
right now like
Like
YouTube. YouTube would get
Instagram
mad at
and
you. Yeah.
YouTube, they don't want you to like repost like similar content. Or specifically the same thing. But TikTok, like I just reposted a sketch yesterday and got like a few followers from it. So like stuff's not dead on TikTok. I can just repurpose that and cut out the little like the stuff from the vlogs. It was like the idea is that it's like a sequence of tiny short films that connect
Right.
with the
Yeah.
narrative and tie into my week. So like those I can just take out and post more, but I shot them horizontally, so I have to like re-edit them to be vertical.
Yeah. That's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, with the editing stuff too, the work that goes into it. A lot of times could like for what you're doing is different from a podcast. So if somebody's doing a podcast, they can get into a studio or whatever, or do how I do it, and then you don't necessarily even have to edit, just put it out there, it's done, right? But what you were doing was a lot of extensive editing, a lot of storytelling, It's layered. I think it's really good, but it's a lot of work. So I think for, you know, it could easily to be detracted. They go, you know what? Is this worth it if I'm only getting a couple hundred views? Is it worth it? But you got to, that's where you got to dig deep and just keep pushing forward and keep doing them. 'Cause I think you're onto something. I think they're good. I think they're
Thanks.
really good, man.
I think the biggest reason I think I took a step back from them is because I was showing myself like as a comic, and it kind of felt like I was trying to show myself as a comic. Like I was telling people, I'm a comedian. This is what I do. I'm a comedian. And I wasn't actually making stuff that was comedy.
But here on Long Island, it's about getting as close as we can. When we put out chairs, we put them out so good, the right amount every time. When we set up the speaker and microphone, oh my gosh, do we do it good. The sound is at the right loudness every time. We put out the don't tell sign, and let me tell you, when we put it out, we do it so good. It's nice and level every time. It's so nice and bright every time.
Like I wasn't making like actual, like I wasn't putting out stand up. I wasn't putting out videos or sketches. Like I was like, I need all that to back it up so that
Or
it's not just
you could pull from the
good.
Seinfeld thing and just do stand up in the beginning and at the end. Like, yeah, you ever see
Yeah,
what's
I thought
going
about that.
on with
Yeah, I think having more like conceptual episodes like that is going to help because I can just record stuff. It doesn't have to be about my week. It can just be about, I can just record stuff or go do stuff that has to do with whatever theme or topic I pick. I just didn't want the videos to be like, it's like when somebody's like, I'm trying to think of an example. Well, it's like when guys are like, I like so much, I have so much sex. It's unbelievable. Like I'm with like, so many different girls. It's crazy. Where it's like, are you? Like you keep talking about it a lot. Like I don't know if I believe you.
right?
Um, but just so doing those vlogs, I was like, I do so much comedy. I do like comedy all the time. I do so much funny comedy stuff. Where it kind of felt like that to me. I was like, I feel like people aren't gonna believe me. And I was only making videos at like cool shows, and I was like, people are gonna think that these are the only shows I do. I do a
Right.
lot. They're much shittier, but I still
You
do other
should go
shows.
to do a whole thing about going to open mics, especially out in, in
I
Suffolk County.
yeah, I thought about it. I have to really. I also thought of like they're because they're almost like mini documentaries too, of like really showing like the scene of that, and then like maybe contrast it with like the city open mic scene because they're two totally different mentalities.
That would be a
I'd
great,
like to show that.
that's a great premise right there. Contrast the open mic scene from the city, like if was it the Grizzly Pear, and then
Yeah,
or something like that, and then show the place out in Ronkonkoma or whatever,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you got these like this contrast, and there's even different types of human beings. Like it's weird because we're all on, like even Long Island, right? We're all on the same Long Island, but it is a contrast of people. We're different. It's weird. I can't put my finger on it, but the people in Nassau County are different from the people in Suffolk County. Not
that's
a
very
lot
true.
different, but it's almost it's like
Different
regional.
enough. Yeah.
It's like the difference between Boston and New York almost. It's like
Right.
or Pennsylvania and wherever. There's a difference between Nassau and Suffolk people. I'm a Suffolk guy, and
Yeah.
I could sense it. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that I when I started there was nothing in Suffolk. There was hardly anything in Suffolk. Every open mic was in Nassau, and there weren't really a ton of Suffolk comics. If they were, they got up maybe like once a month. They would do shows occasionally. So it's crazy how many people live way out east too and still come to, drive an hour. Nassau comics are not driving an hour for an open mic, even if there's no other option for another mic.
Right, yeah.
People out east, they still travel to an hour to be at a very still east mic, So they have like this a little bit more grit, the Suffolk comics, it feels like. I think the Nassau comics almost feel like I'm kind of talking out of my ass here, but like they're just maybe feel like a little bit more elite because they're a little closer to the city.
I think you're onto
Um,
something for sure.
yeah.
And I
Um,
think the Suffolk comics have a little edge, a little chip on their shoulder about it, and I think it comes through in the comedy too. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's it. I think it's good for their comedy. I think, let them have a little bit of a edge, a little bit of a chip.
Yeah. I think the only thing that maybe like I would like to see more of from like the Suffolk scene is that like it kind of exists. It feels like very isolated, and it kind of feels like a petri dish for bacteria to grow, where it's like if they don't have kind of like an outlet to like I mean plenty of those guys are getting up at governors and stuff at
Right, yeah.
McGuire and everything like that. But the when I was like starting and it was all like Nassau kind of stuff, it was like everybody still thought about going to the city or going up at governor's, um, and having an act that was more serviceable towards a general crowd. Um, and not every comic, because there's still comics that just do whatever they want.
Right,
But the Suffolk scene, I think, just feels like it's so isolated that they are performing just for themselves almost. Not the, because I go there, I love them, and I'm like a part of it.
right.
Uh, and
Y-
I love that part of the scene because of that, because I can just go up. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I can just, I don't have to like establish myself up front by like doing a joke for my act. I can just do whatever I want. And it's really great for that. But I
I
feel
think.
like,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Keep going, man. Go.
Well, I just feel like whenever it just feels so isolated that it can make me feel stuck sometimes.
Yeah. No, I hear you, and I think that they have a good scene out here. I think, like you said, Billy Geyer, Joe Winchell's, Rob White's of the world, Terry McNeely's, right? All these guys
Yeah.
out here, Andy Plajanos, right? All these guys are kind of helping create the scene out here, and I think it is an isolated scene, so to speak. It's only out here, but I
Yeah.
think you started to chip away and make headway because what happens when you have an isolated scene built out of necessity? Because who wants to travel an hour all the time or whatever to get out into Nassau County and play those clubs, which is great. I mean, Governors is like the mecca on Long Island for stand up, but in any case, you guys out of necessity had to create your own things, and I think as it grows and builds, and you guys build this camaraderie amongst yourselves, and you have your own style, your own look, the whole thing, it's almost like feels like Seattle or some shit or something like you know what I mean. It's like your own thing. I think people are eventually going to gravitate towards that. And I think we're kind of seeing that um, with stuff like the Hamburger Club and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
I think stuff like that is starting to create a buzz where people go, "Hey, hold on a second, what are those guys doing out there? And how come we're not a part of it? What's going on? We should be a part of this thing, and we're not."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I love that. It's like that's probably the most exciting thing that's happened in like probably like since I've started doing comedy, you know?
it's huge. Tell
Um,
everybody like about this Hamburger Club because it's just starting to catch on as far as getting out there. I think they've been doing it for a while, right? And or
yeah, it probably I'd say about a year.
yeah.
I don't know how much longer or shorter it'd be, but I assume it's about a year. And it's basically like a Jeopardy style game show. And the only rule is that if it gets laughs, it gets points. So they have different categories, and you got to buzz in and give an answer. And if you get laughs, then you win the points. And the categories are just like insane. Like they posted a clip of me. I was like a contestant in one, and it was war crime defense attorney. So they give you a war crime, and then you got to be the defense attorney
Yeah,
and
defend it. That's great.
justify it. And so it's just all like the most heinous stuff like that. Like whenever they like have posted a clip of me, they're like, is this okay? Do you want this on like the internet? I'm like, and normally it's like pretty fine. But
That's cool. They
I
asked
feel like,
beforehand. Yeah.
yeah, that's good. But it would be weird if it just like popped up and I was like, damn, I have to ask them to take it down. Like that
Yeah,
would
that would
suck.
suck. But I didn't want
Um,
them knowing I talking about Nazis.
yeah. But they're like they just put on such a great like show. It's always super fun. Will McCarroll just like birthing this from like nowhere just is incredible.
I love it too because I think it's something different. It's got like I said, it's Jeopardy and all that. It's got it like to me it's on the cusp of like with Kill Tony and stuff like that, but it's a different spin on it, and it's got all the comics on there. It's challenging for the comics. It helps with writing skills. There's so many good things about it, and from some of the stuff I've seen, it looks like everybody's enjoying it from the panel to the audience. And I think, like you said, it's a very exciting thing to happen in comedy out here on Long Island. We haven't seen like something this big hit in a while.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, it's it's the characters that make the show good, like they bomb good too. Like when they buzz in and it just like gets like it's flat, it's like nobody cares just because like it's such a funny person to see bomb. But it's nice when like because I know that they're branching out, it's going like further than Long Island now, like they're bringing it to other places. So I just hope that like they don't get too many whack jobs where it's just like not funny at all. Like it is a game show that like needs good comics
Right.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
to like actually buzz in with funny answers. And that's where like the writing is so important because like I wrote for one of them and then I just had like, too much stuff going on where like I couldn't write like every week for it or every month, whatever it was. But the having like good jokes because like the best part of it is that like they have their own answers to the jokes. So like if everybody bombs with something, they still have a guaranteed laugh.
And that's what you would
It
be
doesn't always,
writing. Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what, yeah. So, um, one of my favorite categories was celebrity. I forgot what they called it. I think that it was like celebrity death pool or something, and then it would just be like a celebrity, and then you'd have to guess how they died, or come up with a reason. I don't think they ended up using it, but it was like chose like Ben Shapiro for one, and then like my guess for how he died is chasing his yarmulke into traffic during a windstorm. Um, like, you know, just those
Yeah.
kind of books that are just like kind of the worst kind of stuff you could think of.
Right. Like a little off. Yeah. A little off kilter, but in the room, it's freaking great. But you're like, do I want this to go? Is this how I want
Yeah,
to go viral?
exactly.
So now you're out there, man. We got the Hamburger Club's kicking butt. You got your videos. I think everyone should go check you out. It's Jack Adam comedy on YouTube, right? People got to check
Yep.
out these sketches. I'm gonna put a lot of the stuff within this interview, but and then we're looking forward to the Trump thing. When could people see you on stage next? When's the car gonna get fixed? And you're gonna come back out and get out and about and join the real world.
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't even think I have anything booked right now. I've been so like MIA in like the stand-up scene. Um yeah, I've just been like just watch me on like online. I'll post about shows too if I'm on shows, but I can't even watch. I have like three things like tomorrow and I don't even know.
It
Um
is something like Butera, let's say a Butera show.
mhm.
If you aren't available, do you get put to the bottom of the list and then you don't know when he's going to reach out to you again, or how's that work?
I don't
Because
know. I haven't done a John B. Terra show in a while. I think I did a couple like a few years ago, but I think I'm just like, um, I don't know. He just used other people. I don't know. I don't really. I also like can't always like bring people. He wouldn't. I don't know if he would make me bring people. One time he did,
right.
which or no, he didn't make me. It was like he gives me money if I bring whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't worked with him in a little bit.
Have you ever done any of those Stars of Tomorrow um like
Yeah,
contests?
yeah, I did. Well, I did the laugh off a few years ago. And then from that, uh, John Truson has like given me like, and think I was like friendly with other comics that maybe said nice things about me. I don't know, but like he'll give me like some guest spots on those,
Oh,
which
nice.
I think I've hosted a couple, um, and those are great because I could just like come in and work on new stuff in front of like a really hot audience. I don't have to worry about like not getting booked again.
Right.
So if I'm up at Governors, I want to do like I need to do my act,
Right. Yeah,
I need to make sure I kill.
yeah.
I could get some new jokes in there, but the Stars of Tomorrow stuff is a really good like workout. for me. Like do stuff that's been working, but that's not in the act yet.
Right,
That's
right.
usually the plan for those.
Those are fun because I feel like a lot of guys get out there and it's competitive, but it's fun. It's also, yeah, I just think it's a cool vibe, especially the finals. We do the finals a lot in the main room, and we're there with set up at the green room show. I think that's when I first met you back in the day, a couple years
Mhm.
ago. And yeah, it's just super cool atmosphere to see all these comics kind of getting together. Everyone's having fun backstage. It's competitive, but not competitive. Like it's not
Right.
like cutthroat. It's not like Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
The biggest competition is yourself for
Right.
those. It's just about, bettering yourself. The year I did it, and I got through in the first round, but I remember getting off stage and being like, I literally, it was like so less, such a relief. It's like, oh, I don't care about getting through. I just cared that I got like a really tight 5 minutes together and I did it the best I could. Like, I felt so like relieved that I didn't have that like competition or like bitterness towards others. I also made sure I didn't watch anybody else because when I was watching, if I would watch people, I'd be like, I risked getting maybe being like a little bitter of like, well, why'd they get through, you know?
Yeah.
But I didn't have it.
Or
I didn't have it.
intimidated too. If you're like, damn, that's a
Right. Yeah.
killer up there. I got to follow this guy.
Yeah. But it was just like a practice of like not comparing yourself to others. And I have not felt like I've been like that since. So
That's a good thing. I mean, um, yeah, I feel like you kind of have an original vibe to you and your writing and all that kind of stuff. Who do you emulate? Is there any comics out there that you're like, I want to, this is my role model, or this was my guy?
yeah, I mean, it's pretty much Louis. Like,
Oh, for sure.
unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, I loved Bill Hicks when I started, and I was like very much a Bill Hicks knockoff when I like first started. And I'm lucky like I've kind of grown out of that because that's such like a specific, distinct style.
Right. Yeah.
Um, Louis, I kind of just I feel like I try to approach comedy like Louis does, not in the sense of like my takes, but in the way he crafts bits. I've studied him more than anybody. I've like written down his bits like verbatim and just broke them down. I've written out like his set lists and I've been like, oh, he gets to here, and then like the one of the coolest revelations that has to be like on purpose. Maybe he came up with them separately, but just it really comes into like the theme of his special in Sorry. He has a bit about um uh elephants being or fat people being having to go to the zoo for an MRI. And it's like, why does the hospital have an MRI? Like, if what you like, I can't
Right.
like a you're gonna treat like an elephant for cancer. It's like he's gonna die. Like, just let him die. He's an elephant,
Right.
this sort of thing.
Right.
Then later on in the special, that comes about like midway through the first half of the special, but then later on, like midway through the second half of the special, he has a bit about like when old people like get old, don't try to save them. Just maybe they should die. Like we don't need them anymore.
Right.
Like like he doesn't say this line specifically, but it's basically like if you can't like send an email, you shouldn't be living anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically like the premise of that bit, but those two bits connect even though they're like 20 minutes apart.
That's
Um,
that's yeah. That's brilliant.
so that was kind of like discovery sort of things. I haven't like formed an act like that at all, but just being mindful about how my jokes connect and like or don't connect. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing those jokes in a set because they say two different things about me.
Right.
Sort of that. I'm very mindful about that sort of stuff.
And Louis, um, he's like the guy I admire too, especially for his writing style and all that kind of stuff. I think he's a great comedian who could make anything funny. He could turn tragedy into humor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably one of the best at it. But what I always admired about him was his writing for TV. And we talked a little bit about earlier about writing, having it funny, but also having it human, like making a real story. And I think nobody did it better than Louis on that Louis series, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it was brilliant. Like to me, Comic Sans is kind of you know, an evolution of that. Like it's me trying to do what Louis did. Like,
Mm.
oh yeah, I could, but it wasn't that conscious of a decision. I didn't write that with that in mind, but I could see where where the where I might have been inspired
Yeah,
when I went.
especially those indie scenes in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Those when it gets weird like that, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, Louis. I think Louis would do something like that. You know,
Andy will definitely be making a comeback uh in a couple of weeks, so you gotta be there for those
nice.
shoots. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really.
I gotta be prioritize. Look, softball, because I have softball Monday nights too now.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
It
so that's
ends at it ends around 8:30. Which when do you usually film? Like
we've been
right around
filming Monday nights at like
9.
9 p.m. Yeah, so it
Yeah,
might be
okay.
tough for you to
Maybe I
get
can
there.
get my butt over there, hopefully. But I mean, but also like the filmmaking stuff, like that's priority over like, just exercise and general well-being.
No, I think
But
exercise is important. Let me see here. Let's see if I can find the actual date. I'll tell you when the Andy shoot is, if I can get it up in quick enough here. Where are we? So we're shooting Andy June 23rd.
okay, nice.
So in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to be there for that.
Yeah, and that'll be Andy's bathroom scenes again. And Andy only appears to Billy, my character, in the bathroom for some reason because he's a plumber.
Yeah.
Because Andy's a plumber. So good stuff. Jack, this is great, man. This is awesome talking to you, dude.
You too,
Like
man.
like I said, happy to have you on the team. Also, I think you're a super talented guy. You got to make your own films, man. Keep going, keep moving forward because you're kicking ass, dude.
Thanks, man. I'm very excited to be part of this project of yours too. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
man. We're psyched to have you on board. So, real quick, just tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all that good stuff.
Jack Adam comedy on all platforms. I'm really trying to build up my YouTube, but the short form stuff has bled into, TikTok and Instagram too. So just follow me on all those.
Excellent. Everybody check him out. Jack Adam, thanks so much, buddy. You rock, my friend.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.